Remake 4.
3, 2, 1. We're live.
They should
No,
make Resident Evil 4 again.
no. See, this is what I want them to do. Like, I'm fine that they're sounds like they're remaking 3. That's cool. What I really would like though is I want a new Resident Evil game made just like using the same like. I keep saying like. I need to stop doing that. It's really annoying.
Doesn't even bother me at all.
Oh, it bugs the crap out of me. There's someone pointed me out to someone on a podcast, a very famous podcast that likes to use the word like a lot. I can barely listen to the person talk anymore.
It's got to be Easy Allies
all the
and
time.
Kyle Bossman.
It is not.
Oh, all right.
Right company, wrong person.
I mean, we can
anyways,
run down the list. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say who on a stream. Are you kidding me?
Live stream.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Just call him out.
But what I do want them to do would be to take the game, take all those elements they did with RE2 and just make a new game. Because what they did was they showed these elements still work in today's games.
Yeah.
So like, why can't you do something similar and still keep the feel, the look, the sound, everything? I mean,
have you played Resident Evil Revelations 1 or 2?
I played a little bit of each. I didn't care for it.
Oh man, Revelations 2 is like Resident Evil 4 Reborn for me.
I feel like
they had a dodge button.
Like they're very
they had a fucking dodge button.
But you don't.
The guy comes swinging in on you. You can dodge, which you should be able to do in any of those games. Instead of like, they're too close. Like I'm fucked. Like 180 degree turn, or you're fucked. You should be able to dodge.
I think
so
they
good, man. You should give it a chance.
Button into the current the RE2 remake. I mean, they introduced dodge in RE3, so I'm maybe they will have the dodge button come back for Resident Evil 3 remake, but I just think they proved it. They proved that you can do it. So why not make a new game with all the elements that are there?
So,
I get what you're saying.
Getting back to stand users' comments about what game I would like remade.
Oh yeah, we were discussing what games we'd like to. Okay, so the thing that spawned this conversation was Resident Evil. I'm going to cut you off. Like this is we're keeping this is the.
This is all part of the lore. Yeah, like I just get cut off every time.
I don't want to do it, but I feel like I have to.
But I have to.
You know what I mean? So we were just discussing like, Resident Evil 2 remake. They knocked it out of the park. What game would you want remade, and have them knock it out of the park? I understand the idea of like what game you want to be just simply remade kind of overlaps with this, but anyways, so.
Well, also because I picked RE2 as my game of the year so far.
Right. Mitch also said that, yeah. So, which is great. I mean, yeah.
As much as I would love to see Colony Wars remade, the game that I was thinking of, partially because of Mitch's choice, was Parasite Eve.
Oh wow! You know what? That is
I have mentioned on Podcast Reload before.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yes.
You don't know Parasite Eve or Galaga? What was it? Space Invaders?
What's
going on? Can I wait? Hold on. This is the same note I used for Keith's very complicated rules. Was it Space Invaders or Galaga?
It was Galaga. I know Space Invaders. I just didn't know Galaga. I assumed
Parasite.
It was I assumed it was like Space Invaders, but I wasn't gonna say it and not know.
Right.
I'm willing to admit that I don't know something.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
That is a very good thing. Yeah. Okay, Mitch. Matt, how do we deal with this? I would say watch a playthrough of Parasite Eve, but like there's a point in the story in the beginning where you're like, okay, wow, this is the opening of the game. I would say watch from the start to that point to get an idea of what this game is.
So
Oh wait, wasn't Paradise Eve that one game that's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's oh Jesus, what would we do we compare it to Twin Peaks?
No, you're thinking of Deadly Premonition, aren't you?
yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
never
totally
mind.
different.
Nope,
It's also
wrong
called
game.
Parasite Eve, not Paradise Eve.
Oh.
I was going with it.
Although
Clearly, I
that's
don't know
not a
the
bad
same.
name. That's not a bad name for a game.
That's
but
that's
we'll-
gonna
Paradise
be
Eve.
our game when we make it Paradise Eve.
So the
Sounds like
next
a name of a
zombie game is Paradise Eve.
So Parasite Eve is surprisingly fucking short. It's like
How long is it?
It's like 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's
I never
so
beat
word.
it.
So
You're supposed
quick.
to say how short is it?
It's so quick to beat that game. So I would not recommend, given the fact that Mitch has like gone through every top tier game this year. I would not recommend doing a Let's Play. I would recommend actually playing the game because it'll take you like no time at all.
I don't know. I'm worried like it's a bit archaic, right?
It is, yeah. Like it's not like the best game for by any stretch of the imagination, but it's decent. And if he likes Resident Evil, like this is kind of a throwback to those mechanics. It breaks up the traditional Resident Evil formula with some turn-based combat. Is all.
And it is the best entertainment media, game or movie or otherwise, that talks about midichlorians.
It's the only game that talks about midichlorians.
I mean, I was thinking more of like movies, but yeah,
Right.
It's probably the only one that talks about midichlorians in a very interesting way. Yeah.
Wait, did any of you play Jedi yet?
No,
They talk about midichlorians? Are you trying to ruin my childhood?
mitochondria is what Parasite
Mitochondria.
Eve. Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
fucked
sorry.
Up. You got it fucked up.
Isn't it the same thing though?
No,
I got screwed
they're
up
totally
and got
different.
flipped around and thinking we were talking about this game.
I love that he has
I-
it. He's just
I love that Mitch always has just games within arm's reach. I love it. You better keep a stack next to you when you finally move.
Well,
Just to
this
keep it going.
deck is going with me when I move. So
Is that what is that football? Is that signed by Brett Favre? What's going on over there?
signed
better
by
be.
one Mitch Trubisky.
no signed by Aaron
ball's-
Rodgers.
No,
You're talking the difference of thousands of dollars or $2.
I'm sorry, it's worth more than $2. But also, there's a football next to it that's signed by I think it's 2006 Chicago Bears team. So that included Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Jay Cutler, Matt Forte.
It's definitely a better team.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no, actually, this team's better.
Are you sure?
But I
Is it
do
at
like having
500?
Brian Urlacher's signature because Brian Urlacher is one of my favorite Bears. I grew up on that guy. Anyways, yeah. Have you guys played this game yet?
No,
I have not.
no, have
I do
not.
definitely want to for sure.
I can't buy a game for full price.
It's definitely buggy as hell.
That's the thing that. All right, so that's the thing that like threw me off when you talked about how buggy.
here.
Yeah, when you talked about how buggy the game was versus all of the reviews that were coming out, I was like, Mitch is not playing the same game as everybody else. It didn't
You're reading
seem,
the wrong reviews, sir.
Well,
I found
it didn't seem
7
like it.
reviews.
Yeah, like I feel like you're being honest. You're always going to be honest with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't feel. I don't. So after you told me about that shit, I was like, everybody else is not being honest with me. This game is fucking buggy as shit.
It's really fun, but oh my gosh, there are just moments where you're just like, why?
And I feel like I might be able to forgive it because it's.
Oh, it's totally forgivable. It's just a constant reminder that it's there. Like you're like,
yeah, that sucks.
you're
sucks.
like enjoying this moment. You're having so much fun with the gameplay, and you're like, oh, this all is working. It's all so cool. And all of a sudden, then you hit a load in the middle of a level, and you're like, oh, thanks for reminding me that this game is, it's really fun, but I have this to deal with.
Is it the fact that it's so fun that people forget?
I think, well, to be honest, when I was talking to you about it, I was on, well, Kashyyyk.
Like the
The level of Kashyyyk is really rough.
Yeah,
It's
the
just
second
in
or
general.
third world, right? There's
Well,
five
then I heard
total. There's 5 total,
Oh,
right?
They go to Kashyyyk. Thanks.
more than
Why bother even playing it now?
they go to Kashyyyk.
Ridiculous. No, I didn't. I don't care.
I love that.
That was the first gameplay they showed. The game was on Kashyyyk.
I didn't hear anyone say Kashyyyk. Come on now.
You gotta assume it's Kashyyyk because it's Wookiees, bro.
I love
didn't see
it.
any
I love that
initial
Evan's just like
gameplay.
fucking. He's just mad. Spoilers.
I
It's
think
ridiculous.
there is more than 5. I think.
There is more than 5 worlds.
Well, now I know how many worlds I'm gonna explore.
Why would you not
I'm
want
just
to
kidding.
know?
I'm just kidding.
He's just messing with
I'm
us.
just kidding.
Um,
I don't care. It's
So
not.
when
It's not a. It's
so
not
when
a
I-
story. It's not a plot. It's not a story arc
Yeah.
or a plot point. So I'm fine with it.
Dude, as long as nobody spoils like how to solve a puzzle for me.
oh, the puzzles are really fun.
Right? As long as
really
you don't
clever.
explain to me how to solve a fucking puzzle, I'm fine. It's not a
I,
spoiler.
I get that from you, being the Talos principal witness guy.
Yes.
I understand how that's important to you.
Yeah, like dude, I don't give a shit about the story beats. But if you explain to me how to solve a puzzle, like that's where you cross the
Well, 'cause
line.
you're ruining gameplay at that point. You know?
Right, exactly.
Well, to both of your points, either way, you're spoiling the game. Whether it's the story point or the gameplay, you're spoiling the game. So it doesn't
Why
matter.
am I even here then?
So yeah, no, it's just Kashyyyk is really rough because it just has so much in-game loading. It's just crazy. And if you run through a level really quick, so like I got to the point where I was super powerful, so I was able to like take out everybody really quickly. So I was
love
like
that.
So I was like zapping through, like going back to check on all my stuff.
Right.
And I think I got through the level too quick because it wasn't enough time for it to load in the background. So all of a sudden it hit a load. Just it's pauses and it has loading in the back corner. And it's just like when Matt and Shane say it is unpolished is like totally on point. There's a part where it literally like I need to stop saying the word like. It literally you're like sliding down, and I said like again, damn it. I'm really gonna try on this one.
Stop it. Stop pointing it out.
So you're sliding down,
You'll psych yourself out.
and then all of a sudden you jump. And you could be like
There you did it again. God damn it.
and you can be like you can be 20 feet the other direction, and all of a sudden it cuts the camera,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you landed where you were supposed to.
Weird.
And it's
Yeah,
just
that's weird.
it was just to the point where why didn't you just
Cut from one
continue
point.
the gameplay through instead of having this cut, because it looks horrid. It looks
Or just have one cut from to the other. Right. Like and just get rid of that section that you're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
they can just do it themselves. You don't have to do that part in game.
Right.
It just didn't work, and it happens multiple times.
Wow.
And
All right. Okay.
And it's quite noticeable. And even the crazier part was when I noticed this. So with the deluxe edition I got, it comes with the behind the scenes,
Just
and that's the only reason why I got it.
just
'cause I
showing
wanted to
off
know-
at
This guy's
this
packing.
point.
It's fucking just fucking spending them big bucks.
Well, actually, if you go to
Deluxe
Walmart, they will. It's $50 instead of $60 for the regular games. It's always $10
really?
off.
All right.
And then this one was worth 60, so I was willing to
That's
pay
good.
the 60.
That's because Walmart's so big they can tell the people that are telling them the MSRP to go fuck themselves, and they'll charge whatever they want for it.
Anyway, so I ran into that part, and so I watched the behind the scenes, and they were talking about the cuts. And there's a game moment I don't want to talk about because I don't want to spoil it. But it has the same issue as well, where the cutting is so noticeable. Even the game director points it out and says, "Is there any way we cannot have that? Because it looks really bad."
Wow.
And you know what? They kept it in the game. And so
I wonder why.
I just thought in my brain, I'm like, dude, why did you put that in your director's cut? Like in your behind the scenes, you just basically admitted that you're willing to deal with this issue and just leave it, even though clearly you didn't like it.
It's probably just not something they haven't. It's probably something they haven't polished yet.
They also said that they were trying to match the Star Wars theme with doing cuts. The way they did cuts.
Well, there's wipes, right? Like, so there's like the Luma wipe, and then there's like the.
Yes, but I think they do those really well. They're talking about action cuts, like in movies, and they were trying to match the movies in that aspect.
That's different, yeah.
And so when they were doing it, it just looks really bad for a game because it's a totally different medium. And I was just like, dude, why'd you put it in the behind the scenes? Because now we just know that you did nothing about it.
Right.
And to be honest, this game, I mean, if they had a month and a half, this game came out in November, didn't it?
Yeah.
Honestly, this could have came out.
15th.
This could have came out when the movie came out. Oh, which I thought about it now. So they showed off. I love these behind the scenes. I love watching these types of stuff. So I'm always down for watching them. So they were going over the bugs that they were running into in the game. And you guys watched Matt's bug, right?
I don't think so.
No. I listened to the podcast version of it. So it was audio only. I didn't see what happened.
So if you watch the video version, he brings this bug he got when he was playing Jedi Fallen Order. And when he did it, he was like, oh, look at that. Like, look at that bug that happened. And it like did something where it kind of warped the body of the character. So it looked like a painting almost of like painting the body off.
Right.
When he used the force powers. And I was like, oh my God, I saw that in the bug section in the behind the scenes because the character was running and all of a sudden it did that exact thing. And so when
they didn't fix it.
They knew that this shit was like a problem.
So when he showed that, I was like, dude, I saw that in the behind the scenes video. So like, of course, like clearly they didn't fix it.
Wow.
So they're like, this is packageable, right? Now let's get it out with all this stuff. That's what I heard about Control. I heard Control is quite buggy as well.
Frame rate's horrid, I heard.
Yeah,
that's Pro. Different though. I feel like that's a game that was made for the next gen of consoles.
Right, with the ray tracing and all. No?
And it's
that game, the next generation of consoles is not out to next year. If you're making a game for the next generation of console hardware, you're releasing it in the wrong year. Like the game.
Well, I get that. But what is Remedy gonna come out with?
Remedy could have more than one game in the works. That game isn't their biggest blockbuster like of content, so they easily could have this could be their small game and they have a bigger game coming out next year.
I don't think so. I think they're
in 2 years.
I think they're so small that they need to make sure that this game comes out. Like Control has to come out.
I'm gonna Google how many people in Remedy.
Hey, you want to hear something shitty that happened?
No,
just kidding. I don't have a credit card on my PSN account, so I buy because I live in Japan. I don't have access to PlayStation gift cards, US gift cards, because I play all strictly on my US account. When I went to Hawaii, I picked up $100 gift card, put it on my account. Well, it turns out that my PlayStation Plus membership just ended. Fucking auto renewed the second I put my money on. Not only that, it charged me $60 during the Black Friday event where it should have been 25% off.
Oh,
So I sent them an email like, no, thank you. I didn't know it was set to auto renewal. There's no way that auto renewal should be the preset, especially with how much money you're charging. I haven't heard back yet. And not only that, you guys charge me full price when it
They're
should
pretty.
be.
They're pretty good
40.
about getting back to you.
Right.
So,
So, I mean, I was nice about it. I'm like, look, all that money I put in there is going to be for games. Like, oh, obviously, what else would I buy with a fucking PlayStation gift card, right? But
Right.
like, I haven't heard back from them, but that was pretty shitty. I have one more story. I was at a bar, like a Thursday night. My friend just texted me when I was on the train heading back home. He's like, "Hey, gonna have a beer. Do you want to come out?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll come out." So we're sitting there. And he's like, we're talking about shooting the shit, and he's like, "Hey, actually, I wanted to pick your mind about Death Stranding because I just started playing it."
right.
And then I'm kind of going through like my just like I don't really know how to feel about the game, and then I was like, "Well, how do you talk about a game that's like hammering you like?" I don't remember what I said, but basically I was like a game that has a character called Sam Porter Bridges, and then I hear
Where do you put
I hear
it,
someone
Bridges?
say, "Did you just say Sam Porter Bridges?" And look over, and there's this Australian couple. I'm not fucking kidding you. Like, did you just say Sam Porter Bridges? Look over. It was an Australian couple and their friend
All right.
holding
All right.
a special set of the Metal Gear Solid 3 sustenance. So they must have gone to like a game store and picked it up. And they're like, "You guys playing Death Stranding?" They're fucking Australian YouTubers.
Get the fuck out of here.
And they're like visited Japan. They went to Tokyo. They waited in line
Get
at like
the
some like
Fuck out
Death
of
Stranding,
here.
like massive Kojima fans. They waited in line. They got like some special like Sam Porter Bridges hat and all this shit.
Who are these YouTubers?
I don't. There's Australian. I didn't ask their names. Australian YouTubers. That's what they said.
how'd
They
you not
rushed
ask
to-
for their name?
We need to link to
because I'm
them
not gonna-
in
I'm-
this video right now.
Yeah. So like they rushed to finish the game before they came to Japan, and they were just talking about how like they're just fucking gushing about the game. But it's like it is one of those things where they are Kojima fans. It's almost like you have a predisposition to like the game and not focus on the parts that like if it was a game with any other name on it, like they might possibly have a completely different opinion on it, but
Right.
they seemed like totally fucking all about it. But it was just like it was the weirdest thing. I say Sam Porter Bridges and like, did you just say Sam Porter Bridges? I'm like, what world do I live in? It's just like, what the hell's going on?
So
It's
Evan,
a
two
random
things for
ass
you.
fucking bar.
One thing for you, Matt. I looked it up. Remedy has over 200 employees.
I was gonna say that, yeah. So like my estimate of 45 is grossly under
Gross.
under the 200 plus employees at Remedy. I looked it up as well.
Okay.
While everyone
And
was giving
then
us that.
two, Evan, you make fun of the name Sam Porter Bridges. You will learn there's a meaning behind every bit of that. And
I heard there's a meaning behind every single person's name.
I
Tell you exactly
Absolutely.
how they got their
I
name when it's quite obvious why they're named that in the first place.
I
without the
love
explanation.
that Mitch is so into this right now. Like he's so into the Death Stranding.
I am.
Kind
I'm
of
enjoying
Kind of
Kojima.
you're selling me on it.
Because dude, I was all into Kojima with Sons of Liberty. Let me tell you. I was there.
Yeah.
That was my fucking life, dude.
So,
And then I got older and I was like much more distanced from all this bullshit. You'll get there.
Oh,
well, I will
Trust
admit
me.
that going into this experience with Death Stranding, I was expecting crap. So
No,
I came
like-
I came
It's a little
out from I in the beginning was saying, "Oh, this is crap. Maybe I won't finish this game," because I actually I should have been playing a lot more of this game. I had plenty of time too. I just didn't want to. But now that I'm got as far as I have, I am enjoying it so much more that I just want to keep playing.
So
I-
what I'm saying is I'm not shitting on the game Death Stranding. I want to make that clear. What I'm talking about is the experience that you're having is the same type of experience that I had when I was in 11th or 12th grade and playing Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid
Except
2.
were you disappointed by Sons of Liberty?
No, dude, I fucking loved it at the time.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, no, like, and I get it, and I guess that's where I'm coming from. Like, I get your enthusiasm, and I can't harsh it because I was that kid, you know, like I was that guy back in the day, and so like I'm
Oh, look
totally,
at him calling me a 13-year-old child.
no, dude, I'm totally
Yeah,
I'm,
that kind of sounded like what you were trying to say. Like
It's-
I was,
it's
not-
I,
it's
I
not what
I'm
was
saying.
you.
It's
I'm
not,
double
I
the
was-
age of the 13-year-old child.
no, I get where you're coming from. Like, I totally understand your experience with Death Stranding because what other Metal Gear Solid games or what other Kojima games have you played?
My first Kojima game I played was Metal Gear Solid 4.
Okay.
So thank
was your
God for game
first.
trailers because they got me prepared for that experience.
Right.
What did they give that game?
I think you gave it an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, I think it was probably like an 8 or a 9.
Did you,
I remember
Mitch?
Game
Mitch,
Informer
did you
gave it
play
a
5?
10. Game Informer gave it a 10. I did not play 5. No, I'm sorry. I played a little bit of 5 and I stopped because I didn't like it. Wasn't my thing.
I think Metal Gear Solid 4 is a bad game.
It's a really entertaining game.
I
But
don't even.
But it doesn't play great.
It's a terrible playing game. It's like CQC, is it?
Close
It's like
quarters combat.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like impossible.
CQC.
Like
I will say
it's so hard to do.
Near the end of the game is probably its most enjoyable gameplay wise compared to the very early to middle stages of that game.
I think it's not a really good shooter. The controls are wonky. It's overindulgent.
Well,
I
was thinking more of that super cool like Street Fighter style fight scene with Solid Snake and
See, I thought I didn't even like that. Like I understand
like
if you're a
that.
Metal Gear
gonna-
fan. I was just like, this is fucking dumb. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
I'm gonna step inside in the middle. All right. Because of the fact that Mitch has not been exposed to this shit for like the 5 years before Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah, when this game came out, I was
Like that's
I was a freshman in high school.
that's
is
the
when I
thing.
first
Like
played that game.
you're not overexposed to it.
No, I'm not. No,
And
I'm
you can
fresh in this.
appreciate the minutia bullshit that you have to get through in order to obtain the Kojima pearl of wisdom and knowledge that he breaks down and gives you. I get that, dude. I totally fucking get that. If you have to sit and play through 3 other games like this, when we get to Death Stranding 4, you're going to be like, fuck this shit. He's a hack. I hate him. By the time you get to that point, like that's where you're going to be. Okay? Right now, I feel you and I'm into this shit. I'm okay with your perspective.
I will admit, a very genius move was did you guys play Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yes.
Yep. I played them all.
So I played 5 for like 3 hours, and them doing the whole custom character creator and then just saying nope.
It was genius. It was genius. I fucking love that aspect of it.
That was a great moment.
I like
I was
how
just-
I like
Wait,
how I like how
you didn't
Evan's
even
like,
get through the intro of the game?
Oh no, I got
You-
through the intro. I just
Oh,
thought it
okay.
was awesome. I thought it was just an awesome moment of like,
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's great.
serious.
It's very subversive.
Thank you
For
of my
you
expectation.
to go through that to be like, all right, I'm gonna create my character in a fucking Kojima game.
Yeah.
To even
Do you guys?
think that was an option is
Yeah. Do you guys know?
Well, I didn't know
what
that because I
happens
was
with that.
Kojima, so I was like, just like, okay, cool. I didn't see anybody have their own custom characters in the reviews, but I guess I'll.
Right. Do you guys know what happens with that at the end of the game or no?
No.
No, what happens with that?
You don't know? Do you want to know?
Yes, absolutely. I'm really curious now.
Uh, you're not Big Boss in that game. You're a decoy.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So the guy that's guiding you through the hospital is Big Boss, and
Right.
when you had the helicopter explosion, one of your like right hand man you chose as your decoy, and they reconstruct your face to become the fake Big Boss. So like the first Big Boss in the Metal Gear game for the MSX is actually the decoy that gets killed.
Oh.
And then that's why Big Boss shows up in Metal Gear Solid 4 because he actually never died in the first Metal Gear game.
See,
I thought you were totally like going somewhere else. I was like,
oh no, like
I was like, what ending did I not get where they unlocked the shit that I did fucking 60 hours before that?
No. It's just, I mean, it kind of is. It's slightly obvious, but yeah, it's that was your like original face before you're facially reconstructed.
I did get to the point where you're talking about. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's the end of the game.
Right away with having to watch retrospectives of Metal Gear to like get ready for 4. His shit's confusing. I think I had to watch like 40 different kind of retrospectives to make sure I understood every bit of what's going on, or else I don't think I would have enjoyed that game at all.
Can we talk about how cool the fucking bad guy names are in his games though?
They're all right.
Like wait, hold on. We got to pull up a list of GBA. Like he's just so good at
Hard Man.
Well,
who said he's a villain?
Did you just spoil something? I'm fucking done with this podcast.
He may as well be a fucking villain.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, we got like Revolver Ocelot.
Yes. Psycho Mantis. Come on.
Yeah, Psycho Mantis. Crying Wolf.
Fucking Raven.
What's the octopus one called?
Decoy Octopus. Sniper Wolf.
Yeah.
Hot Cold Man. Who the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Oh, that's from Snake Eater. Hot Cold Man. All right, I retract my statement about how great these names are. I immediately retract my statement. And you know what's great? His first name is Hot and his last name is Cold Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's either the best thing you've ever heard or the worst.
To me, that's what I think of.
But like, Vulcan Raven. There's a couple from the GBA game that are really good.
I actually like
a Buffalo.
I like Vulcan Raven. That's a badass fucking name.
That's a good ass name, yeah.
Vulcan Raven.
It's a good fight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked 5 a lot. Like the story was nonsense, but the gameplay was probably the best in the series because
too long, and way too fucking repetitive too.
Oh, there was only 2 maps, and you're just essentially doing the same missions over and over.
Yeah. Like no, like 5 is the worst of the series because of that.
I don't know. Gameplay wise, it's so fun. Like I would go in a place, map it out, and like completely ghost the entire mission. Like I love that shit so much.
I like that, but I don't need that for a Metal Gear Solid game.
Okay,
see, but
I get that.
I want one again. I want set piece. Like if you're gonna give me fucking 20 hours of gameplay, give me set pieces.
Is this the game that you want remade?
Don't give me fucking sandboxes because the sandboxes are the same shit over and over again.
One of my favorite stories is how Kojima wanted like an open world. I don't remember which Metal Gear it was, and his team was like, "It's not possible." And then he went to like E3 or whatever, and he saw Assassin's Creed for the first time.
It was 5.
And then he went back to his team, and he's like, "You said it was impossible. Why can't you do that?" And the first thing I think about is Jeff Bridges yelling at fucking Ralphie from A Christmas Story, because that's the actor. And he's like, "Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps." It's like I'll never forget that.
What was I gonna say? Shoot. Totally blanked.
Sorry.
Bitch.
No, the game you're thinking of, Matt, is Metal Gear Solid 4. He wanted that
the
because
open world shit.
Yes.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
It totally led into 5 though. Like, there's no way that he gave up.
Well, he tried in 4, but I think because of all the set piece moments they had to create with all those cutscenes and things like that, they basically just had to find a way. Because heck, that game, you had to install that game 3 times.
I don't feel like
depending
4,
on which act you're in.
I don't feel like 4
Yeah,
is very
that
open
is right.
though.
Huh?
I don't feel like 4 is very open. It's like very corridor.
I mean, they tried to kinda, and it didn't really work.
It's more like an Uncharted
certain
map.
all right. So there's certain like points in the game, right? Like the very first time that you get past, I would say like after the first 6 hours of the game, you're finally let loose, and then like you have snipers that you have to avoid. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What
I
game
remember that.
On 5?
No, 4.
4.
In 4, there's that moment where like you drop down, you literally have like a drop from a cliff, like where your character as Snake drops down, and there are snipers like everywhere, and you have to like avoid the snipers.
It's been so long since I played 4. I do not remember.
I remember the sniper moment where you have to keep away from them.
But that's after you've just played 3 hours of cinema and an hour and a half of fucking crawling through tubes. To get to that point, you're like, I got a brief glimpse of Revolver Ocelot. Thank God. All right. It's so closed off and so claustrophobic. I just,
Well, that game is literally just a movie. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it really is.
like
It's a film. It's a film going from one point to another just to show the cutscene, just to watch the movie. Like that's literally what the whole point of the game is. That's what I learned when I played it.
The whole Beauty and the Beast as well. Like those weren't very memorable fights, and then every fight plays out exactly the same. And then your the gun dealer.
Though. It sounds so cool. Of like
the gun dealer, dude.
And he calls you up after every single.
I like his character.
Battle.
Though. His
character's fine, but it's like he tells you the backstory after every single fight, and it's like I'm on the clock here. Like fucking wrap it up, man. Like why do I care about? I just killed this woman. Why do I care about her backstory? It is the worst. Like talking to the player exposition, lazy fucking writing bullshit that permeates a lot of Japanese games. And it's just like you have to find a cleverer way to put exposition into your game. You fit it into characters talking to each other in a natural way and not facing the audience and just throwing a bunch of exposition at their face because you don't know how to work it into your game.
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah, Evan, you're not gonna like Death Stranding then in that aspect because
I mean
it's that. It's pretty much that.
That's kind of what I'm worried about, and it's
So
also like why I think that it's gonna win a lot of categories because people are just gonna be like, whatever. I like being told what I should like.
I'm really confused. It's just because that game is so divisive among critics. Like it's either highs or lows, and like things don't make sense with their reviewers. When you read the reviews, they sound like it's the most boring game ever. But then when you read it, they say it's the best game ever, or it says, the curiosity makes up for its brilliance, and you're like, what?
So that's the thing that got me about Tim Rogers' review. I love Tim Rogers, by the way.
Dude, that guy is great. Fucking
phenomenal. Everything he does, I'm down.
It is all good, yeah. But because I hadn't played, spoiler Evan. That's my Metal Gear Solid name, by the way. Spoiler Evan. the worst fucking Metal Gear Solid name ever.
I love it.
I
Love it.
I stopped watching that review just because I thought just in case he would have spoiled things.
He doesn't
But,
really. I mean,
But no.
based
Sorry,
on what other people have told me, he doesn't spoil anything.
Okay. Continue, but yeah, that guy's fucking gold. Everything he does is great.
I mean, he goes into so much depth that like I feel like I'm on the same journey that he is, right? But I'm not quite of the same mind. So him and I are on the same journey, and he's telling me about all this shit, but I'm not the same type of game player that he is. That's where we divert. When he starts talking about like, oh, this is all fucking amazing, and it's the walking simulator it's the GT of walking simulators, and it's on this next level Kojima shit. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm not following you anymore. You just left me behind. That's where I feel like Mitch is. Mitch is like, dude, this game is fucking phenomenal. Like, it's amazing. Like on these different levels, like these different aspects of this game will fucking blow you away. But you have to play 20 hours to get to it.
It's like the classic Final Fantasy 13 explanation.
I understand that, and
right.
Again, I told you I'm almost was gonna put the game down, and now the gameplay makes sense and everything works to what you're like. Okay, now I get what the game wants it to be, and it's enjoyable. Okay. I guess my excitement is more towards the story, the plot, the world is super interesting. The way they explain things keeps me captivated in the world. I love the rules that they're setting for the world right now. That's the thing that's got me on the higher end. The rest with the gameplay, it's once you get past that hump in the beginning, you finally understand what the gameplay is, and it's a lot more enjoyable compared to where it's a chore. It's a hardcore chore in the beginning.
Dude, I would so much love this game if it was like me and my homies back in the day, just sitting in front of a TV. If it was Mitch, if it was you and I just like sitting in front of a TV, and I'm like, you hold the fucking triggers because I don't want to do this shit right now.
You don't have to hold the triggers if you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, like once we get past that point and we get the motorbikes and we get all that bullshit.
Oh yeah, then I'll give it to you and you can have fun.
Right. Back in the day, like me back in high school and shit, like I'm like, okay, me and my homie Mitch, we're playing this game. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna play this game. I'm gonna hand the controller to you. You're gonna do the triggers.
Evan, you can come too.
All right, cool.
Right. By the time we get past all right, I gotta do the triggers bullshit, and we're like on motorbikes. It's you and I just playing the rest of the game and passing the controller. But to get past that point, me as a 30-plus-year-old male sitting down to play a game.
Tall ask. It's a very tall ask.
It's super hard to ask me to do that today.
No, I 100% agree with you. And for me to even, like, when I was talking about it, I didn't want to play the game in the beginning. Like, once I was playing the game and then I put it down and did some other stuff, I was like, I really should go back to playing Death Stranding. I really don't want to play it. I'm really bored of it right now.
Right. Like,
I totally get that. And now I'm enjoying it once I get to a certain part. And it's if I was reviewing it, I wouldn't be, because of that beginning portion, it definitely would hurt it, because it's a tall ask to ask a person to, it's a value proposition. It's not worth your time and value unless you invest in it. But if you're bored investing in it, why would you expect to get a good outcome?
Right. Yeah.
So no, I totally understand. And if I was reviewing it, I'd be way harsher, but this is just me personally. I'm enjoying this portion now, finally, when I'm getting to somewhere. Because honestly, I wanted to play it because of, you guys know other reasons that we'll that are happening with me.
I like that there are payoffs, that there are reasons to play the game.
But
Right.
at the same time, to be
Right.
truthfully honest, you honestly could just watch so far. You could honestly just watch the cinemas
All right.
and get the plot that you wanted, at least so far with what I've witnessed, and depending on how well the person cuts it, because there's only a few times where it's not a cut scene that you would get vital information that you probably want to know to understand what's happening in the plot. But pretty much it's cut scenes is where you're going to get your stuff, and it's good. It's really good. It's like I said earlier with when we did the show, the camera is really well done. Like you can tell
Okay.
Kojima to make a movie it'll be really good.
Well,
Like
he started.
The
He
guy is
started. Yeah.
desperate to make a fucking movie.
Well,
He's-
he had this
said- he
cool
said as much.
transition shot where he goes into the eye of the person because they're talking about something that happened to them. And so it was like going from that viewpoint of what they were witnessing there to the transition of the viewpoint, what they were seeing when they were coming out of the eye. And it was such a cool transition. And not very many filmmakers do that. Or if they do, it's not executed really well. Here he did it really well. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like he great camera work there, Kojima. Great camera work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
I wonder if that was his director of photography or his cinematographer though.
Kojima is fucking everything, dude. He's not.
Oh, yeah,
He
he
doesn't
did
hire a cinematographer. He is
he
the
is the
cinematographer.
Kojima doesn't have a cinematographer. Cinematographer. That job doesn't even exist.
I'm glad.
you
I'm
see,
glad that you agree with me.
he sent a tweet of the first scene where with the motorbike. It's like the very opening of the game where Norman Reedus is riding the motorbike and he crashes it. They showed a behind the scenes of Norman Reedus like in the sound capture room with the bicycle, and he breaks the handlebars off of the wood piece that's on there. And then they were like, they're trying to put it back together and it's not working. Like they can't screw it into the wood piece below it. And oh, it's hilarious. I was just like,
There's actually some pretty cool stuff on Twitter where like before they set up their studio, they were just doing like proof of concept stuff, right? Where they were kind of like, we kind of figured out these are the scenes we want to shoot, and they had the camera come in there, and they were just using like
the hallway,
like hallways, like tables and general stuff in the area.
I didn't see this stuff.
Oh, he's posting
Yeah.
on Twitter all the time. If you follow Hideo or just like look him up, he's posting tons of stuff on Twitter of behind the scenes.
It's just like a giant empty room, and they're using like tables as like chest high walls and all this type of stuff. Like, yeah, we didn't have anything in these rooms, so we just decided to like fuck around with the camera and like kind of feel out like kind of just general. And a lot of the, as you were saying, Mitch, a lot of the camera angles and direct, like it's very similar to what is actually in the game. And that's before they even built the studio, which is quite.
Do you guys
interesting.
feel like the BTs are an extension of PT?
PT.
Yeah.
What's that?
like the game PT,
Right.
the demo.
Yeah, the demo.
No,
I mean, I know Kojima gets into some like fucking rabbit holes and all these types of things, but
So you don't feel like the horror aspects of Death Stranding have anything to do with what he would have done with Silent Hills?
what I will say for sure. Sorry, Evan, I cut you off.
no, go ahead, Mitch.
Is he knows how to set horror setting really well. Like there are some moments in Death Stranding that the scenes and the cut scenes are really, really, one of them made me jump. I was super surprised by it. I did not expect to, like have a horror vibe in a couple scenes with the BTs being involved. And I was just like, oh, I think he should direct a horror movie. Why in the heck did he not do Silent Hills? I think he would have done a great job.
Well, that's what I feel like. All right, so Silent Hills was going to be Norman Reedus. It was going to be Guillermo del Toro. I feel like a lot of the shit that he wanted to do with PTs or Silent Hills.
pushed to the.
Is part of
You
Death
might be
Stranding.
right.
It's part of Death Stranding. Like
the mechanic of like holding your breath when they're around.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like a lot of that shit is like that's what he wanted to make that game, you know.
Well, even in hard mode, to be honest, the BTs are like nothing.
I don't think that even in the horror game they were going to be that hard. Like
even so, they're the biggest throwaway. It's not scary. Like, they are not. Only in the cutscenes are they scary because the music, the camera work, the atmosphere, it works. When you're playing the game, it's not scary at all. It's literally like
it's
okay.
It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be scary. Like the whole point is, okay, let me get through this.
I don't get that. I honestly feel nothing when I'm like, oh, I get to deal with a BT. Cool. I got to walk by it slowly. Cool.
You don't have that immediate like, okay, I have to get through this.
No, that's how ineffective they are. So like that's one huge criticism I have of the game for something that puts a real strain on saying BTs are this big bad and like they're very, very scary. They are they're the lowest on my pecking order. They're more of a chore than they are.
Yeah. A fucking rock jetting out of the ground is scarier than fucking BT.
I mean,
you're gonna lose all your shit.
I mean, there are sequences now. The things going around, like sorry, not going around. Wrong word. The things that connect BTs to the world and the rules that are played with it, those are intimidating. Those can be very scary.
Okay.
But the BTs themselves are almost the biggest letdown of that entire game for me, because it's like they set it up so greatly in the first scene with BTs, and then when I get to them, I'm like, okay, this is really easy. I'm just walking by you, and then most of the time I'm out of range, and I'm playing on hard mode, so like that's even worse. It's like it's not difficult.
Dude, I'm playing this game on easy mode if I ever play it. So like I like that.
Come on, Matt, you're better. Burkoff, you're better than this.
Well, Burkoff, to be honest, I
like that Burkoff is like my gamer tag, right? Like, no, Matt, no, Burkoff.
No, Burkoff.
You could do
Burkoff
this.
is better than this.
Yeah.
Your avatar is better than easy mode. Come on.
Dude,
well, to be truthfully
I'm totally
honest,
playing this on easy mode. Death Stranding. Like, yeah.
Well, whatever
the only
you want
thing
to
that
do.
makes it difficult is the gunplay.
Is there any
Because it's
gunplay
bad?
though? Like, it's towards the end of the game, like
I'm
30
sorry.
hours plus, right?
No, it's not. You get gunplay within the first 5 chapters.
What is the first 5 chapters though?
So let's just say
20 hours.
15 hours in, I got my first thing of gunplay.
All
But
right.
I was using weapons before that, but it wasn't guns.
Okay. For me, you saying 15 hours, it's going to be 20 to 30 hours for me to get to that point.
It could be.
Yes, it will be for me. I
Well,
know
and
that.
then to be truthfully honest, it's just your what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think the BTs or how difficult to do something, to travel and stuff like that has nothing to do with the difficulty setting. It's just how difficult are the enemies that you run into potentially.
Dude, I'm setting that shit on easy mode, and it's going to take me 30 hours to get to guns. I guarantee you. Guarantee you.
That
30
depends.
hours.
Based on what you're telling me, based on the way that you're describing it, yes.
Are you a perfectionist and like want to complete everything?
No.
If you're not, okay, then you're definitely not.
I'm a casual, like hardcore casual gamer.
Then you're gonna hit it sooner than 30 hours. You're gonna hit it at like 10 to 15.
I think the average casual gamer is gonna hit it like 30 hours.
No, I disagree because I'm a little bit of an OCD person in regards to playing games and want to do everything.
How many platinum trophies you got, bro? What we looking at here?
Sorry, I'm not. I don't judge myself by platinum trophies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sorry. No, a lot of this time I was spending once I started to play with the mechanics and the mechanics started to become more fun. I started to do a lot more side stuff. And so that's why it took me about 15 hours to get to gunplay. That's why I think it'll be sooner for you, not later.
All right. Mitch, you have played 3 of the most engrossing games of 2019.
What 3 games?
Control, Death Stranding, and Outer Worlds.
I did not play Control.
You haven't played Control?
I have not played Control.
Jesus,
One
I
game
thought
I
you
have not
did.
played.
All right. Out of the Outer Worlds and Death Stranding, which game would you recommend?
he didn't play Outer Worlds, so I don't know if he can recommend it.
No, he totally
No,
played Outer Worlds.
I played it.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What didn't you? Oh, you didn't play Control.
I didn't play Control. I reviewed it
Sorry.
Outer Worlds for Sifted, bro.
Fucking embarrassing.
I was like, yeah, he totally reviewed that shit. I was like,
I better hope I played that, because my review was really off kilter.
What a sham.
What a sham. I mean, that was my second review of my career.
Sorry,
Yeah.
embarrassing. Sorry, continue.
Which one would I recommend? I would probably recommend Outer Worlds, and that's just because the game is accessible to everybody.
yes.
And I think, if anything, the Outer Worlds, and this is what I loved about Outer Worlds, is Outer Worlds is a great game for someone who is either new to that genre and has never played it before, because it's very basic, yet everything that happens in those basic elements appear and matter. And so you're like, oh, this makes sense. Like, oh, this is so cool. Because I said this person said that. Where in sometimes some of these games, it takes forever for you to realize that's happening to you, where this, it's a very blunt and it's very clear. And I think the story is interesting. I like the elements that's in it. You know, Death Stranding is not everyone's cup of tea. It's not going to be.
Right.
It's never going to be.
But Outer Worlds is every American's cup of tea.
No, I think it's just more accessible.
Come on, dude. I was trying to lead you on. That was going to be.
I know you were trying to do that. It didn't work out.
No, it didn't work out.
I haven't played a single game from 2019.
I literally have
haven't either.
Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion sitting right on my counter.
This guy's just fucking buying them all up. Buying them all up.
Well,
Which is not bad. Like,
well, we can't talk about it, but you know why.
oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Yakuza 7 demo.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Fucking, I was
Dude,
so worried about the whole change.
Turn-based combat.
Yeah,
that's
I was kind of excited to see that change.
Oh, I was super disappointed because it's like, how many brawlers are there out? Like, essentially, 2D brawler translated into 3D. How many are there? Not many. The Yakuza games do them perfectly, and you're gonna change it to like a turn-based combat system that most games, you know, like at least JRPGs use. It's like something really, really familiar that a lot of games do even now. And then I played it, and I was like, "This is great. It's so fucking. It's great. It's basically everything that you want from a Yakuza game, but when people see you on the map, they kind of get like an exclamation point in their head.
Right.
And they don't really necessarily chase you, but you can engage in combat, and it's like, boom. It's so fucking cool. Like, but I like how most games are just like JRPGs are essentially like a different world. They're fantastical. And this is a JRPG that's set in like modern Japan. So like one of the main characters in your group is homeless, and one of his magic attacks is like, because like they have to like ground their attacks in something that is like
That relates to them.
that relates to like the natural world.
Right.
he throws like bird seed at the characters, and a bunch of pigeons will come and fucking
Oh my
attack
God.
the character.
Oh my
It's
God.
fucking great. Or like he'll take out a bottle of sake, and he takes a lighter and he
Dude.
fucking blows it, and fucking that's like his fire
Holy
attack.
shit.
It's
This
basically
is-
like fire. It's fucking great.
Dude,
It's
this
so
is-
good.
This is Home Alone 2. Lost in New York.
Oh, and it's got really cool stuff where like so you control your characters, but like they'll kind of naturally kind of like move around the air. You know, it's kind of like Parasite Eve, where remember when you got into combat that kind of creates like a bubble. You can't move in
You're
the.
just throwing that out there.
I kind of am, but
It's
basically
not
your
right.
characters kind of naturally move like laterally, like as you're choosing what you're doing, like in real time. You can't control them; they're just kind of like, you know, like moving around the enemy.
Right.
If you hit a guy, and then, like real physics come into play.
Okay.
So like one of your characters doesn't move, and the guy like flies across the screen. If it lands anywhere near any of your other party, they'll get a kick in, and they'll get a hit in on the enemy, so it's like extra damage. So it actually, it matters like where, when you hit an enemy where they fall, because if they fall close to one of your party members, they'll get an extra hit in. Or
like South Park and the Fractured But Whole.
I guess so, yeah. But there's like no grid,
yeah.
so it kind of seems like a bit more natural. Like it's just natural as you could have like a turn-based game, but yeah, it's kind of like that. And another thing that's cool is like, let's just say, because you want to attack a certain enemy, but you have to actually, once you pick the move, you have to close the distance to actually hit them. If you run by another enemy while you're trying to attack a specific one, they'll hit you.
Okay.
So like you actually have to be careful of like who you're attacking. So they kind of actually add in a bit of like, okay, this isn't a brawler, but there's some like area of effect kind of type stuff or that type of thing, and it's like, it's super cool. It's super cool if you like JRPGs and you're slightly interested in the Yakuza series, it's some really, really good stuff. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that.
All right.
And you know, with it being gone, you know what it can be replaced by?
What's that?
A real sequel to Sleeping Dogs.
That's a good one, Mitch, because Sleeping Dogs is a really good game.
That's a hard cut. That's a deep cut.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna call it for me.
All right, gentlemen.
It's 5:30
yeah,
in the
it's
morning.
fucking early as shit for Mitch right now. I'm gonna end the stream. Evan, do you have any last words?
I thought you just cut it.
Dragon Quest 11. If you beat the last boss, don't sleep on it. Play the end game. The game kind of cheats you in that regard, because if you don't play the end game, you don't get the full story.
Okay.
So don't quit on the fake end boss. Play that last 15 hours. That
Mitch.
sounds like a fucking hard sell.
It is super hard
but
sell.
it's worth it.
Mitch, last words. Resident Evil 2.
Resident Evil 2 is the game of the year.
Resident Evil 2 for life.
Cody. End of the
No, not the greatest of all time.
end of the stream.